The Ford Mondeo Tournier and the Honda Accord Tourer are both station wagons, and they've got more in common than you think. For example, both target individualists.
Car tester Mathis Kurat says that in Germany there are relatively few Honda Accord Tourers compared to a slew of Mondeos. That makes owning a Tourer special. The abundance of Ford Mondeos on Germany's streets, he says, prompted Ford to offer its individual line, which affords the Mondeo owner more options to design to taste and distinguish his car from others. First introduced in 1993 as the successor to the Sierra, the Ford Mondeo is now in its third generation. Ford hopes to excite potential buyers with a diverse range of options to customize their cars. Being able to give your car that personal touch will cost you, though, to the tune of an additional €6,000. But you'll like what you find in the interior. Mathis says the Mondeo has a very pleasant effect. Its interior has high-quality workmanship. We've got a steering wheel that feels good and a display right between the speedometer and tachometer. So he's got all the information, including the navigation system. The car drives great, too. The suspension and steering aren't set too tightly, making for a nice gliding ride down the street. The Mondeo is about 10 centimeters longer, 8 centimeters higher, and 5 centimeters wider than the Honda. The customizing package for the exterior includes, for example, a modified front bumper. And for that sporty look, there's a roof spoiler. The spoiler is also available on the Accord, whose more squared and angular form give the entire ensemble a more aggressive look. Both cars have their fair share of chrome trim. At the rear of the car, the similarities continue, especially down below, where both models we drove boasted 2 exhaust pipes. The Honda Accord, now in its 8th generation, has been around since 1976 and continues to be generously equipped. Engines range from 150 to 201 horsepower. A diesel and 2 gasoline versions are available. Unlike the Mondeo, all of the Accord's engines meet the Euro 5 emission standards. Mathis says the Honda's interior is sportier than the Mondeo's, again with a good-feeling leather steering wheel, a good feeling of quality of the whole dashboard area. But there are too many buttons, 18 of them on the steering wheel alone, which can be confusing. In any event, you won't have to go clicking through a labyrinth of menus on the onboard computer. For an extra charge, says Mathis, the Honda offers a lane keep assist function. That counter steers the vehicle if you start to stray from your lane. As long as there are shoulder lines on the road, the car can even drive itself on curves. To prevent the driver from leaving too much driving to the machine, the system issues a warning if he lets go of the steering wheel. Now, the inside question arises. Sporty or elegant? The plethora of buttons in the Honda Accord is daunting. It's as if every single function has its own button. The seats are narrow,
but they do have good lateral support. In the Mondeo, it feels like you're sitting in an armchair. There are 18 buttons on the Mondeo steering wheel too, but it somehow seems tidier than the Accords. Regarding room in the back, the Accord comes up short compared to the bigger Mondeo. Mattes says people always judge a station wagon by its trunk size, and that's why we've put together a little test to see just how many of these crates will fit into each car. First, the Mondeo. One crate of mineral water after the other just keeps going in. 16 of them, and Mattes says he's impressed and would like to see how many the Accord can take. At first, things look good, but then 9 crates is all it will take because the trunk is too shallow, says Mattes. No matter what he does, he cannot get more than 9 in. He points to the remaining 7 cases of water still in the Mondeo as proof of the Mondeo's superiority when it comes to cargo space. But certainly not everyone chooses a station wagon based on cargo space alone. Both Honda and Ford offer good safety features, including ESP as a standard feature. For a little more money, you can get extras like radar-governed cruise control. So how did these vehicles measure up with the experts? Both cars have well-tuned suspensions and hold the road well, says Mattes. He likes the sportier feel of the Accord and the way it seems directly connected to the road. The Mondeo, he says, has more elegance, something Ford prides itself on. It's more of a cruiser. The Mondeo's elegant interior contrasts to the more sporty feel and look of the Accords. The final decision on which one to buy, says our expert, is one of preference. In fact, says Mattes, both vehicles are great cars. Rolls-Royce is introducing a, by its standards, modestly proportioned entry-level model. The Ghost is both the shortest and lowest priced car in the luxury marquise range. The technical wizardry comes from parent company BMW, which designed a 6.6-liter V12 engine for the Ghost. Prices in Germany start at 230,000 euros. Porsche is bringing out a special edition of the 911, limited to just 250 units worldwide. The new model is distinguished by a double bubble roof and a slightly wider rear. The 911 Sport Classic will hit the market in January 2010 at a price of over 200,000 euros. When the doors opened at Frankfurt's International Car Show, the IAA, manufacturers from around the world seized the opportunity to present their new products and studies to an audience that knows what they're talking about. Whether presented in elaborately staged shows or sober just the facts press conferences, cars are the focus. Some manufacturers go to the extra mile to give visitors a chance to really test their product. More than any previous motor show, electric power systems are at center stage this time around. At this 63rd IAA at Frankfurt, more than 20 companies are showing their stuff in the field of electric mobility. And Volkswagen is right up there with the best of them. Volkswagen's Ralf Gerhard Willner is excited about the E-Up, a very special member of the new small family. At 3 meters 19 centimeters long, the E-Up is the shortest Volkswagen ever built and can go 130 kilometers on an emission-free electric drive. The E-Up is due to hit showrooms in 2013. Other car makers have similar projections. It'll probably be a few years before they too have electric cars out on the streets. That goes for the little green cars from Toyota. Their first electric auto is due out in 2012 at the earliest. French car manufacturers are also in the electric car production race. Citroën and Peugeot are working closely together on theirs. Even the Truby, the Colt car produced in the former East Germany, is being refitted to move on electricity. The primary challenge for electric car makers is to come up with better ways to store more energy on board their vehicles. Suppliers are already working on solutions. Stefan Suka of Johnson Controls says that technological changes like using lithium-ion batteries have sharply increased the energy density per cell. That puts more energy into the available battery space and permits an increase of driving range while reducing the amount of battery space needed. 12 years ago, Toyota made hybrid engines attractive with its Prius. The second generation of electric petroleum cars is already on the market. The trend has reached higher-end models as well. Mercedes has equipped its flagship S-Class line with hybrid engines. Not to be outdone, Porsche has placed hybrid motors into its Cayenne SUV. Porsche's Wolfgang Durheimer says his company is able to get fuel consumption down to under 8 liters without sacrificing the performance one expects from a Porsche, and even in a weight class for 5 passengers with a trailer in tow. The Cayenne Hybrid will be available at dealerships in 2010. Car manufacturers have had to rethink their approach lately, especially with the growing interest in the use of natural gas, liquid gas, and hydrogen fuel cells expected over the coming years.